All right, welcome to this episode of Disrupt Education. I'm Pete Hosterhauser, you all know me. This is Josh and Isaiah from Novus Club.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for inviting me. We're at 1871. So who wants to start? What are you guys doing? What are you about? Where are you from?
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. So I go to Loyola. Isaiah goes to DePaul. And I major in computer science and minor in entrepreneurship. We're majoring in
computer science and probably minoring in something business related soon enough.
Yeah, So we're all business and computer science guys. Likewise, we started Novus, which is all about business and computer science and entrepreneurship. And it focuses on high school students who have like this drive to create something, and this drive to create something with their friends, something that they're passionate about. So we take students through a program of workshops and mentorship where they're able to craft this business plan and an actual MVP, so a prototype of what their designs look like. And then at the end of the year, they sort of come together at the pitch competition that you're speaking at this Friday, and they pitch it to judges, and the top winner receives a nominal seed investment, and the other ones are sort of just recognized for their accomplishments with the business plan and their sort of ability in accomplishing those things.
Nice. So how did this come about? Did you both go to the same high school? Is that how you started the Novus? And what was the spark?
Well, yeah, we both went to the same high school. That's how we met. But really, how we met was through another club called Tech Genius. And what that club originally was sort of like just me talk about what's new in tech. But we kind of thought we could change that a little bit. And then what we decided to do was kind of do more projects instead of discussions. And we got a lot of value out of that, and we wanted to extend it to other kids, not only at our school, but eventually other schools. And that's kind of the reason why we started Novus.
I'm hearing a lot of project-based learning, right?
Yeah.
Over lecture learning. Is that how you guys learn best? Or what would you say your learning styles are? In high school, what it was, and did it change at Loyola and DePaul, respectively?
Yeah, no doubt. Project-based learning is where it's at for me personally, because I know there are like basic assignments where you can get them done, but when you start on a project and you sort of have like creative ability within the bounds of that project's assignment, then you're able to really get passionate about it, at least from my point of view. You're able to get passionate about it, and then that's when I'm like super motivated to work on things, when I'm passionate about a project. It worked for me in Maine East. I was a terrible student. Isaiah was a pretty good student.
What do you mean by terrible students?
So in like classes like chemistry, math, history, I was just like, I didn't really do my work. But when it came to like project-based classes, we had this class called Virtual Enterprises International. We were both in it actually. It's where you run this virtual business in like a computer lab. So you've got this classroom full of like 35 kids. You split up into 5 departments, and there's a CEO that sort of leads the business. And it's all virtual, so it takes place in a virtual economy. You guys are like developing a business plan and then actually selling products to students within the virtual economy at other schools. So it all comes together at a trade conference, right? Yeah, a trade conference where all these schools, trade show, where all these schools sort of get together and like pitch their product to each other and get more sales. Those are the classes that I excelled in, where there was like an element of student leadership, and there was an element where you could sort of take ownership of projects and sort of get passionate about it. And those were the classes that I excelled in. Whereas in something like English, where you're just writing a paper on something and it's just very basic stuff, that wasn't my sort of forte. And I think that's continued with Loyola, and I've actually seen sort of like English classes actually implement project-based learning at Loyola. So I'm taking this really boring class right now. It's on Shakespeare. But she got me excited, our professor got us excited about a project that we're working on. It's focused on Shakespeare, but what we're supposed to do is like any sort of artistic rendition of a Shakespeare play. So what our group sort of decided to do was like an office parody. Now it's like a creative thing, it has nothing to do with entrepreneurship or computer science, but the fact that we're able to like take this project and then figure out how we want to like do it, how we want to execute it, that makes us passionate about it, and at the end of the day we're like more excited to get this project done.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's sort of like what works for me and what drives me.
So project-based versus, although it seems like you're on your academic side, kind of what he was saying, you excel a little bit differently.
I mean, I guess I've been more of a what's the word, bookworm kind of guy. But I think once I started high school and they had the options to take electives, the first time I took sort of like a business class or a CTE, career technical education class, I found that wasn't really tied down to a curriculum, basic assignments and stuff like that. And I kind of enjoyed that more than the traditional like math class and stuff like that. And then at one point I realized that I was putting more energy and effort and enjoyment into those classes and even clubs and organizations like those than my regular core classes. And I think that's kind of shifted for me.
Do you feel that it increased your knowledge in a different way in core classes, doing these projects?
I guess I did get skills in those classes based on, let's say, just like more creative output, more, I guess, communication skills and stuff like that I wouldn't have gotten through the regular core classes.
Okay. Yeah, and then what skills did we gain out of these like CTE courses? Yeah, I think I gained a lot of skills, primarily like people skills, especially in VEI, just working with a classroom full of 35 people, whereas you're sort of like supposed to implement this corporate organizational culture, figuring out how to get students to work and work together efficiently. And part of that is like using the Scrum process, like Scrum boards, sprints and whatnot. And we use that within the classroom. So getting like those real world skills, those are things that we actually see in the workplace, like vividly. Like if you go into any office or programming development shop, you'll see like they've got their Scrum process going strong. So learning those items in the classroom was just really impactful for me, just because I was able to see how it played out in the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
If you were to go back and change systematic kind of traditional education systems, if you could just change a couple of things in your schooling, what would it be?
I think this project-based learning and these real-world application type of learning, I think that should be more so part of the everyday curriculum, based on stuff like no, it shouldn't be after school, it should be part of the classroom. And if that was more of a reality, I think like kids out of high school will be so much more equipped than what they are now.
With that, and also just drawing back to project-based learning, if you're able to give students something to get passionate and excited about, they'll take that and they'll start learning the concepts on their own. I would have never read a Shakespeare play unless I was passionate about it. Like, I read the SparkNotes versions of it before this, but when we got a project that I was like into, I was excited about, then I went down, I read the original Shakespeare play. I figured out how we needed to like sort of translate it to make it modern and relevant in the play or in the video parody that we were creating. And I just took learning into my own hands. And I think I've seen it in some classes in high school, classes particularly in like the career technical department, where they're able to say, this is what the final product should sort of be, but go ahead and take whatever creative freedom that you need to get there, to get the end product. And that's sort of what really drives me. And I think if we were able to implement that in other classes, then I think students would get a lot more out of their education. And I think it's possible, because I never would have imagined something like a project that I was passionate about in English, but there it is.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So a clear vision of what done looks like.
Yeah.
And then go do it.
Right, exactly.
And then guidance throughout.
Right.
Very cool. What's next for Novus? What's next for you guys?
Expansion.
Yeah.
Conquer. So we started in May 2007. We had about 60 students. I think we're gonna have about 30 pitching at this competition. So with Novus, we're all about figuring out what works. So putting a model out there, seeing how it performs, and then taking it back and tweaking it. And that's what this first year of Novus has been all about. From this point on, we're actually looking to move into schools that don't necessarily have strong business programs. So there's a bunch of schools in the northwest suburbs that have programs like DECA, Skills USA, CTSO programs, that other smaller schools and schools that aren't as well funded as Maine 207 don't have the opportunity to provide their students with. With Novus, everything we do is cost-free for students, so we get sponsors to take care of everything. And now that we've been able to do that with this current model, we'd like to deploy that model in other schools and sort of get more students involved, students that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to sort of pursue entrepreneurship and pursue computer science in a passionate format. So we're looking to bring it into other schools this coming year.
How can people find out about you?
At Novus Club on every social media channel. Isaiah's got that down. At novusclub.org. You can find all our contact information there. Also, just DM us if you guys want to get involved in any way.
Awesome. It's a great program. Appreciate it. You guys getting me down to 1871 today. Thank you so much for being with us. Guys, until next time, keep disrupting. We'll see you.